guys, it's Maddie with FTC Creative, and today I have a really exciting video for you. I'm going to be going over our small trinket tray starter kits. Let's go ahead and open this up so I can show you guys what you get in our starter kit. When you first open it, you're going to see our small set of Jesmonite. So you got your liquid and your base in here. You also have your quick start guide. This is just going to give you a quick step-by-step guide about how to get started with Jesmonite and how to get comfortable working with it. You also then see your mold, which is super exciting. And that's just our cute little extra small tray, which you can also order separately along with the sets as well. Then we have these cutie little pigments that you cannot find anywhere but these starter kits. So if you want these cutie little pigments, go ahead and order your starter kit. The pigments that come in this, you get black, red, yellow, green, and blue. So basically all you need. And we also have 2 stir sticks, 2 popsicle sticks, and then 2 sets of gloves. What I love about our starter kits is that in the starter guide, it tells you all your measurements you need right here. Now that I have my gloves on, I'm gonna go ahead and tear out my scale, tear that out, and then we're gonna measure out 66 grams of liquid. Perfect, okay. And we have 66 grams of liquid in there. Then I'm gonna go ahead and measure out my base, tear that out as well. And we have 160 grams of base that we're working with. So we're just gonna go ahead. Before I mix the two together, I'm gonna go ahead and mix in my pigment. Today I think I'm gonna do some green and yellow just to make a cute little FTC green, as we like to call it. So I'm gonna get out my green pigment and my yellow. And look at your green, black, and blue pigments all carefully when you buy these, because they all kind of look similar, and you could get a black project when you wanted a green one instead, or vice versa. So we want to make sure this one is green and this one's yellow, obviously. Okay, cool. Also, just a quick side note, when you are opening your pigments, just make sure that this little ring right here can sometimes fall off into your project. So we don't want that to happen. So we just want to make sure we're holding on to it or keeping an eye on it. We want to keep in mind that a little pigment goes a long way. So we want to keep that 2% rule in our minds when we are adding our pigment. So the 2% rule, just a quick refresher, is you don't want to go over 2% of your total project's weight in pigment. So if my project weighed 100 grams total, I wouldn't want to use over 2 grams of pigment. And then so this is also what I'm kind of talking about earlier. This little ring could have just fallen off. So I just take that real quick and then put that right back on and close these up so they don't dry out. And let's add them back into our baggie so we don't lose them either. Ooh, ooh. So now I'm gonna take our stir stick and then we're gonna just mix these up together, mix them up real nice. Ooh! The reason I add my pigment into my liquid is so I don't play into that working time. You have about 5 minutes working time before Jesmonite starts to set once you add the base to the liquid. So I wanted a custom color. I make sure that I have that custom color before adding the base in so I can get that, and then it can all set up at once instead of setting up while I'm trying to mix. Before I add this, I'm gonna go ahead and open my mold. Inspect your mold, make sure it's clean, make sure there's nothing, no dirt, dust, nothing, because we don't want dust or anything, because Jesmonite, again, super fine material. That's why we like it. It will pick up on those little imperfections, so make sure your mold is completely clean and cleared out. We also have these numbered in case you forget which one comes first, liquid, and then your base. So I'm gonna add this in small sections. I'll probably do half and half with this smaller amount, and then we're gonna mix. And we wanna make sure it has like a similar consistency to pancake batter. So none of those lumps, we want it smooth. We don't want those lumps of powder in there. Cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and add the rest of my mix now. Set that off to the side. After I've mixed both in together would be a perfect time to add in aggregates like terrazzo, sea glass, Anything you want to add it now before dumping it in there. I'm gonna keep mixing, making sure to get the sides, and then just looking for that smooth consistency of no lumps or bumps. We don't want any of those. No lumps or bumps. So you can see how there's like some lumps in there still. We don't want those. So we're gonna keep mixing just for a little bit longer. Okay, cool. And then here comes the fun part. Now I'm going to pour my Jesmonite into my mold. But there are a few things we want to keep in mind when we're doing that. We want to pour at about 10 inches above, just so those bubbles have a time to pop on their way down. And then I'm also going to gel coat my mold, which means I'm going to pour in just a little bit, that much. And then I'm going to take that and I'm going to move it around and coat the bottom of this mold. And that, you can see all those bubbles sitting there right there. That's how we eliminate those bubbles. I think I could use a little bit more. There. So I noticed that my mix wasn't mixed enough. So I went ahead and just used my fingers, that's why we have gloves, or my stir stick, and I just went ahead and mashed them in just a little bit more to go ahead and make sure that it's completely mixed in. Because when we have the stir sticks, it's a little bit harder to make sure it's all mixed in compared to when we're using a mixing blade. So I'm going to go ahead, backfill the rest of this in here. Slow again, and we're going to just keep tapping. And you can see all the bubbles come up. You can see that bubble right there. It's going to pop, or the bubbles coming up to the surface. So then we're going to just fill the rest in. Perfect. Tap, tap, tap. You would probably notice at this point that I have quite a bit of extra product in here. We don't want to waste that. We don't want that to go to waste. So I'm just going to take my popsicle stick and just spread it all the way around. And this can act as a timer to know when our project's done. So I like to call it the terrazzo timer. When the terrazzo around this cup, or your spread, your mixture around this cup, you can crunch it and it creates a really satisfying noise and look. You can go ahead and demold your project then. Another reason why we like to use the terrazzo timer, besides letting us know when our project's done, is that we can reuse the terrazzo in further projects. So if I wanted to remake this tray but all white with just green terrazzo, I would go ahead, crunch this up, and then add that into my next project. Like when earlier in this video when I told you this would be a good time to add your aggregate, that's when you add this terrazzo. But yeah, so we're gonna let this sit for about 20-30 minutes until our terrazzo is ready to crunch, and then we'll be back and demold this for you guys. Okay, so we're back. We've waited around 40 minutes to let this thing fully cure, and we've tested our terrazzo timer. Full transparency, already filmed this segment. The mic was not on. So I did already crunch this. Don't worry, I have a video of it, just not sound. So if your terrazzo sounds a little bit like this when you crunch it, you are good to go. You're good to demold your project. So, a couple things I like to keep in mind when I'm demolding my projects. I like to first start by loosening the edges just around the mold, just around the tray, just so nothing gets stuck and could potentially be pulled off when you're pulling off your mold. After loosening the sides, I like to flip my mold over and peel starting from one side all the way to the other, just in one fluid motion. And then there you go. Your tray is now out of your mold. You might notice that when you first take your tray out of the mold, the edges are a little sharp. So be careful. Just take a sanding sponge, run it around those edges real quick. Just soften them up. Just make sure that they're all nice and even and smooth, and so you or your friends and family don't cut themselves on your projects. After your project is out of the mold, you can go ahead and seal this little guy with a variety of different sealers. We have an acrylic matte sealer and an acrylic gloss sealer available on our website. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. If you haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye!